What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Swipe Up, the 75th episode where I share some of my favorite posts from Instagram. Let's get into it with this first post from All Things Comedy, Wilfred Burr on set of a morning talk show. Let's listen to what I'm sure is some great stuff.
Your Christian background is part of the show. Or at
Yes,
least
and
two
I wanted to
episodes.
talk to you about Jesus after this.
Well, the only reason why I bring it up is some people thought maybe you went a little too far. You know.
As far as what?
Well, they thought that maybe you were being disrespectful to the Christian religion.
Who did?
I'm telling you, you need to Google.
Oh, good Lord.
So did you feel
that's
you were
probably
being disrespectful, or just you were just having fun with some of the crucifixes and stuff like that?
I don't even know what I mean, we did maybe two jokes about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far? More so than my cartoon.
All right, listen.
A couple of jokes. I know this is a morning show. You can't bring up all those crimes.
You know what?
Well,
Technically,
they just sort of kept moving them around. You know, like those killer whales at SeaWorld. After it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
all right, I'm not totally following, but I don't think
You
I
know
want
what
to.
I'm talking about. It's a morning show. I understand.
I like your Christian.
I love how, like, first off, they're quote unquote news people, but they're trying to promote like a delusional cult activity. Like, oh, you offended Christians with two of your jokes from a thing you do that you've done hundreds of different versions of. But we feel that you've been inappropriately making fun of our cult. Fucking baby rapers. All of them. It's like chomos. It's a cult of chomos. Not all of them, but I mean the leaders of that cult are all chomoed out. They just need to keep feathering it until they pass out on the side of the road. But yeah, just a sad thing. One, I don't understand why. I mean, I get comedians going on morning radio to promote their shows in local areas, but so many of these comics are huge, probably selling out before they even get in town. Nobody who watches morning shows have a nightlife. They're not going out to watch offensive. Like, if you're watching Fox Morning News, you're not going to see Bill Burr. Like, if you know that he's made fun of your cult, then you're probably not going to go out where sinners go and drink and, laugh at the atrocities and ridiculousness of the world. Yeah, but Bill Burr is hilarious. Yeah, I would have rather seen Bill Burr just go off on that chick. That would have been hilarious. Like, oh, sir, and that other dude, you don't understand the metaphor of how a killer whale might get moved around without any, like, you don't understand that child rape happens in the Catholic Church and that priests are protected and moved around to cover up shit. It's like, why don't you pull your head out of your ass, okay, you fucking propaganda machine, and get with it. Anyway, let's move on to more important things than cults and chomos. Let's move on to Gary V with this little cartoon here. When you love what you do, you're consistent as fuck. It's a little cartoon of a dude getting up on the 1st at 6 a.m. Super happy. Yeah, it's a lot easier to be consistent anyway when you do something you love. Most people aren't good at being consistent at anything because they've never had to be consistent at anything. So that's why, like, it's hard for people to start diets because they have to be consistent about doing something new, right? Like, so many people just kind of live an existence where they just do the things that they've always done because they got used to doing them when they were a kid, and they just locked it in place and have never really taken themselves out of their comfort zone to get good at something else or to get to a place where it's easy to be consistent. I mean, if you're just consistent with anything, right? There's going to be, in the first part of you doing this new thing, it's going to be tough. You're going to suck. It's going to be hard as hell to be consistent. You're not going to want to do it. Every part of your body is going to be like, no, don't do it. put it off until you feel like doing it. And it's just like, that's the trick. You just have to show up and do the thing and show up and do the thing like it's a day job. Because you don't go to your day job only when you feel perfectly motivated to go to your day job. You go every day because that's what they pay you to do. You gotta treat your life like you're getting paid, even though you're not in most situations. But yeah, consistency is key, man. And go, if you are an artist or somebody that wants to get consistent, but you struggle with self doubt and read the War of Art. It's all about just showing up and putting in the work and overcoming your own kind of roadblocks that you put up. Anyway, so good on Gary Vee there. Let's move on to another inspirational dude, Kevin Hart on Joe Rogan's podcast. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
No, we're all writing a book. What's your book look like? What does your fucking book look like? Like your life is a book. You got a bunch of chapters in your book, but when they close that book, how good was the book? How good was your book? What was the ending to your book? If the ending to my book can be so amazing because of all that was done, not the money, all that was accomplished, the first to do, the man that did this, he caused the merger between this. Because of his commitment and growth to this, the communities were then given this, made education this, changed the way the schooling was, blah, 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 gave books, gave computers, all of the things that can be associated with you and your existence become a part of the chapters in your book.
Kind of one of the ideas that I've thought of similar, and I mean almost exactly, as a way to just mentally survive when things aren't going well. That like I want to live a life that would be interesting for somebody to like. I think of it also as like a documentary. I'd like to live a life that would make a good documentary, but also a book. Like, the most interesting stories aren't the stories where everything goes good and it's effortless and it's easy and like it's not, nobody gives a fuck. I mean, some people do, but nobody I give a fuck about is like obsessed with like the wealthy person who has wealthy parents who gave him or her their money to start whatever business they want to start. Like instead of having to go to a bank and get a loan, they just get money from mommy and daddy, or they get money from mommy and daddy anyway. Like there's never a financial risk being taken when you're like super wealthy, and then they just start something and then they just keep making more money and making more money and making more money, and then they have far more money than they did when they started with. It's like nobody gives a fuck about. I don't care about that. I want to see the person that falls apart and rebuilds himself. I want to see the person who struggles. I want to see you look at sports films, all sports films. It's not about like the team that's blowing everybody out of the water. It's always like the Rocky story. It's the nobody that puts in the work and rises to the occasion. Or it's the team that like lost its way, that like just completely crumbled, completely went away, and was in the worst of the worst spots, and somehow were able to dig themselves out and rise again. Like that's inspirational. So, when I'm living my life of just utter shit, I'm just like, someday this is going to be inspirational to somebody. But yeah. So moving on to Velazos, a guy that I used to do a lot of art shows at Ray and Knight. He's posted this. He's still on the grind doing these pop-up shows all over San Diego, doing these photo prints on wood and skateboards. His setup has changed a lot over the years. But yeah, I love his work, and it's cool seeing him still doing it. He's a guy that left his day job and just started grinding out on these pop-up shows, and he's been doing it. I mean, it's getting close to 10 years now, I think. But that's some inspiration there. And it's cool to see his work evolve and change and stuff like that. So yeah, go check him out. Go check him out in San Diego and buy his work if you're in the area. Now, last but not least, a little photo of this place in Crested Butte, just outside of Denver, Colorado. I think it's outside of somewhere in Colorado. But it's just a beautiful photo of this little mountain town with the lights all lit up, and then the snow and the mountain and the sky, and everything's very beautiful. And it makes me wish I was in Denver because I miss Denver. I love Denver. But yeah, I'm going to finish off with a bit of beauty there. And now let's do some shout outs and get out of here. Shout out to All Things Comedy, Wilfred Burr. Shout out Gary V, Joe Rogan, Kevin Hart for Real, Velazos, Natural _ Colorado. Shout out to all you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!